Hi, Pickles. My name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with the Keto Lifestyle. I have not finished putting in my food, although I know what I'm having, but I feel safe knowing that I'll put it in a few minutes. It's already planned, and so there we go. So anyway, I'm in a much better space today. Oh, I've had a rough month with this eviction. So many emotions surrounding it, along with costs. But anyway, on my walk today, who did I listen to? Well, I listened to the podcast that I posted today because I always like to know what what people are commenting on. Sometimes they'll go, "Yes, I agree," and it's like, So I needed to watch it, and then I listened to Primal Edge Health. That would be Tristan. And the title of his podcast is Cheat Meals on a Ketogenic Diet, Carbs and Keto, Why? And so it was interesting. And what came to mind, he was talking about, cheat meals. He didn't get into refeeds, but he was talking about some people that start off with the idea of a cheat meal, and and then they start blossoming out, which is like the alcoholic that has one drink and nothing happens. So then he has two drinks and nothing happens, and then his mind tells him that he really didn't have a problem before. And so like that with the carbs, all of a sudden they're having 600 carbs in a day, and they're loading up on carbs before their workout, they're loading up on carbs after their workout. Yeah, it gets a little out of control. So what made me start thinking is, and he has the same philosophy I do about beginning keto and how it's not a good idea to have any of those things when you're beginning. Period. End of subject. But if you've been on it for a while, and now these are my words, not his, and you feel like you're in maintenance, and Dr. Berg does the same thing too, and even a keto peer of mine that lives in Ireland with her popcorn and my popcorn, there are moments that you can have something that is not ketogenic, that you don't lose all you've gained, so to speak. That's kind of funny. That's a George Carlin thing, isn't it? And you can enjoy the moment and the treat and move on. He says, first of all, don't call it cheating, and I don't either. I never have. It goes right through me. Because it just sets up that whole thing, like cheat, what you're getting away with something, you're sabotaging yourself and you're getting away with something and you call it cheating, and the connotations of cheating are never positive, right? Except cheating death in a car accident. So anyway, one of the things that I always talk about having saved me through my ketogenic journey is Fathead Pizza. And it's the only thing that I ketofy, and it has saved me, and I use almond flour. And so I began to think that for some people, they can't even have something like that. For other people, they have a keto treat or a ketofied treat, and it saves them, like me with the pizza. And then it's not even ketofied with the popcorn. It just does it. And if you're new to keto and you're watching me, please ignore what I'm talking about here. This is about for somebody that's fat adapted, been with it for a while, has the discipline and the structure, doesn't take bites off of people's plates, doesn't have artificial sweeteners, artificial or diet soda, doesn't have fruit, doesn't have grains or carbs of any sort from processed foods or sugars or things like that. And so, or even things like the rice or a sweet potato, things like that. You've been really strict keto, keeping it under 20 total, not the net game. The net game, it just, I don't know, it's too Weight Watchery for me, but that's me. Some of you may be able to do the net. You get along with it just fine, no problem. But for somebody like me, a net carb of something would kind of be like Weight Watchers to me, where it's like, oh yeah, you can have it, but it's going to cost you in points, and then that's all you can have. And it's a mentality thing that I just, no, it's total for me. And so when I say I'm having 24.9 carbs, and they're all veggies, that's because it's total carbs. If I was doing net, it could end up something like, 16, 17, depending on the fiber in the veggies. But it's not non-veggie items for the most part, except the new Good Culture cottage cheese that I've introduced into my food plan. And those cost me, that 5.3 ounce container costs me 5 carbs, but it's worth it. I like it. So anyway, if you feel that you are okay with a treat, and the treat isn't like 48 hours long, that's one thing. If it saves you, if a treat for you could cause the opposite and kick in a binge because your head starts saying, got away with it. I can handle it. Then you're in dangerous territory and you might have crossed the line into being a food addict like me. And it's a card-carrying deal. Do you have your food addict card? You don't? Oh, wow. It's like AARP. They start sending it to you once they see that you're on a ketogenic website. You didn't know that? Yeah, go out to your post office. Go out to your post box, your mailbox, and check it out. Kidding. So, I love my keto, and I love my veggies, and having the extra veggies really has kept me satisfied and satiated and content. And it's so funny, I often talk about each decade of what somebody might have as a goal, right? Early 20s, I got to get out of, I got to graduate, I got to get my master's, I got to get a good job. And their 30s are, how am I ever going to pay this college debt? Oh yeah, that's right, living in mom and dad's basement for 10 more years, driving a little subcompact car that's 10 years old, yeah. And then 40s, it's like, oh, I forgot to have a baby, so yeah, all those things. So my goal in my 60s is to stay on keto and to stay at the weight and the size that I'm at right now. Like other people that I've heard on keto sites, if they were to gain on their keto food plan, gone would be the nuts, gone would be the extra butter, gone would be the cream, and things like that. Things that, just things that are just a little bit, you could live without nuts, couldn't you? And so I'm very, very careful, and when I do have nuts, it's either like a half an ounce of walnuts on my salad or 1 tablespoon of slivered almonds, something like that. I'm very judicious with my cream, and I'm very cautious with my butter as well. I'm not pouring blindly the olive oil and the macadamia nut oil into my salad. I have a little glass bottle that I combine the macadamia nut oil and the EVU, and then I pour out my measured tablespoon onto my salad, and that helps. And when I add my 40 grams of avocado that I do some days, depending on other things that I've had, then it makes the salad extra delicious and satiating and leads to my contentment. Those 3 words, again, I like to be satisfied. So, if you're considering a treat, really, really have a little talk with yourself. Sit down with yourself and say, self, I'm planning on this. Is this a dangerous, slippery slope? Especially as we get into the food season, which begins Halloween. It begins before Halloween if you buy the bags of candy and you find yourself having to replace them. Then you might have a problem with sugar, right? Yeah, I bought the 3 for $10 bags, and now I'm down to 2. I better go get, yeah. Oh yeah, I've been there. But not today. There's no sugar or grains or artificial sweeteners or diet soda or fruits in my food plan for today. Even though I haven't finished putting it in, I can pretty safely assure you that those things aren't going in. My keto treat is still just the fathead pizza. And then there's no leftover pizza. As I said in previous videos, I rip off the topping and that becomes part of the topping for my scrambled eggs the next day. It's just how I roll. So if you don't know how your body and head, your mind, that dangerous, dangerous neighborhood will handle a treat then probably you shouldn't be going there. I would say 6 of the most solid months of under 20 total carbs before you even entertain the idea in your head, much less on your lips and tongue. You just need to be safe, because there's so many people out there. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they ended up weighing what they weigh, and they don't consider themselves food addicts. Well, I know one bite, sugar, grains, sometimes fruits, diet soda, and artificial sweeteners can send me in my head on an idea where I think it's going to be okay, and before you know it, I have justified and rationalized this keto-fied item. It's not safe for me. It will never be safe for me. If it's safe for you, that's good. I'm happy for you, but it's not safe for me. So I talk about what works for me. And it's a keto lifestyle with total carbs, usually under 25. They're sometimes around 28 or 29 on the steak and veggies night, because Brussels sprouts have 1 carb per Brussels sprouts, and I'm having them once a week, so I'm having 8 of them. That's 8 carbs right there. Yeah. So usually I'm 25 or under. Today I'll probably be 25 because I am having my Good Culture 5.3 ounce little container of the cottage cheese, which is D-I-V-I-N-E. So have a wonderful day, my pickles. What works for you is sometimes what you have to learn the hard way, because my saying, I don't have grains or sugars or artificial sweeteners or diet soda or fruit, might not register with you, and you can stay away from it. Usually, stubbing my own toes is how I've learned things, and it's the hard way. And if it's a lifestyle, I guess that's how that rolls, learning it the hard way. And so I'm here just to share what works for me. If you're new here, trust and believe the process. It can work for you too. If you're a newbie and it seems like, what are they talking about? It's a whole language. What are they? All these initials. What do they stand for? I'm totally confused. Hopefully, you can put in the top of your YouTube search bracket there. Put in keto beginners, and you will have weeks of how to begin keto. And you can begin to separate the wheat, pun intended, from the chaff, and learn how to be fat adapted and lose that sugar craving once and for all. Suddenly, peanut butter is a dessert. Yeah, if you're going to have one. But I haven't had peanut butter in a long, long time. Or cashew butter, or almond butter. But anyway, this has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with a Keto Lifestyle. I'm so glad you're here. Please comment below and become a member if you haven't already by hitting the subscriber button. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye for now.